I always get weaseled into getting donuts with my sister. She says, "Oh, I'll get donuts for us." I say, "That sounds fantastic." I get myself all hungry. I forget that she's really overeducated. So she's not looking for the donuts she's looking for a strong donut lead. She's looking for artisanal donuts, subtle flavors. So Katie shows up with a box. I'm frothing. I'm so hungry. And she opens it. And I see these unrecognizable knickknacks. Oh, Chris, okay. You're going to want to first try the orange basil. Then this is lamb water. This was made with water they were going to give lambs. This one's the old butter donut. This is mezcal panko. You won't like it, and neither will I. We need to split the Montana chocolate. This is sourdough spider plant right here. This is lilac kiwi. This flavor is so insane. It almost killed Fran Lebowitz. She tried it in 91 and had to get airlifted out of Port Authority.
TBTL.
Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's Friday. Gonna get down on Friday.
Everybody's looking forward to the weekend.
Do you even like this podcast?
I have never had less faith in a creative team than I do right now.
You don't think his idea of starting with the catchphrases and working backwards is panning out?
Nuts to you, McGillicuddy. Who ordered the wieners?
Beep, beep, ribby, ribby.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
All right. Hello, good morning, and welcome everyone to a Friday edition of TBTL, the show that just might be too beautiful to live.
The vibes will be the illest, and the jams, nar ridic.
My name's Luke Burbank. I am your host.
I hate podcasting. It's just ruined my life.
Coming to you from the Madrona Hill studio, perched high above the mighty Columbia.
Oh, Ma, Pa, it's just beautiful.
The final day here at the Madrona Hill studio before the wonder trio that is TBTB, Too Beautiful, Too Biz, which is to say myself, Andrew, and John Sklaroff will be converging on Friendship, Wisconsin. That's right, for next week's TBTL-a-Thon 16, which we have a big announcement related to today.
Attention, everybody, madams and Miss Waz.
We're going to be telling you the theme of the thon and what the thank you gifts are going to be and many other pertinent details about next week. By the way, we, on this Friday edition, are at episode 4,513 in a collector series.
Let the fun begin.
I don't know if we're going to have time for this, and honestly, I don't know emotionally if I feel like getting into it, but rough day in broadcasting between the defunding of PBS and NPR by way of the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and the fact that CBS is canceling the Late Show with Stephen Colbert. They say strictly because of financial reasons.
Well, we know you're good at lying.
Despite the fact that it's top rated of the three late night shows. And Stephen Colbert just happened to be criticizing CBS and Paramount for their payoff to the Trump administration. Its timing can only be described as interesting. Anyway, we may talk about that. I know we will talk to this guy, longest-running Cobro of the show, maybe best known for his depictions of the tall ships.
He's got riz, like he just does.
He's Andrew Walsh, and he's joining me right now. Good morning, my friend.
Good morning, Luke. 113/73.
That's the BP. That's the blood pressure.
Yeah, are we doing that? I know that you guys used to do weigh-ins at the beginning of the show, how much you weighed.
Yeah, it's really evolved.
It's
really evolved over its 17 or 18 years from the vainglorious weigh-in, which also, probably just not the greatest example to set at the top of the show. We used to all report on our actual weights. That was a big part of the program, too. Now, us listing what our blood pressure is from our home pulse oximeter.
I actually think it would be kind of fun if you got one of these things. I'm telling you, so my doctor told me to get one of these things, and I did, and it took me forever to finally get it. And then I got it. I brought it home. I didn't take it out of the box for a while. Then I took it out of the box a couple of nights ago. Now my life has been gamified. Now I want to beat the machine. I'm looking for the best time and place to do it. I found the best time and place is after a couple of gin and tonics.
Yeah, definitely. Get that
sort of
blood pressure really pumping, really trying to push that gin through your system.
So I wake up in the morning, have a couple of drinks, take my blood pressure, and I report it on TBTL. You get one of these things.
And what was it again?
It was really good. This was actually last night, 113/73. And I've created a little folder on my phone so I can kind of take a photo of this thing every night and sort of map it. And I've got a chart here. And according to the chart, normal blood pressure / ideal blood pressure, that I'm in that range. I'm in the big green block right now. I mean, that's something
nice
to brag about.
I'm seeing similar. It looks like, 113, that's not bad. That's not bad at all.
No, it should be okay.
I was a little high last time I was there, and they literally said, next time you come in, if we're still, measuring at that level or whatever, you should probably order, I think it is called like a pulse oximeter or something. It's one of those little things you put on your finger.
Oh, sure, yeah. That's interesting.
They were telling me I should probably get one and start monitoring. They said next time if I get that reading, if it hasn't gone down, then I should start looking into things. I'm trying to, if I can, stay off of the various meds, other than the one that's supposed to keep my bald spot from advancing any more quickly. That's the only medicine that I'm willing to take, finasteride.
Of course, that's the important one. Everything follows after that. Yeah, me too. I think that the doctor is ready to put me on some sort of blood pressure meds, and for some reason I'm just like, I don't know, man. I already have some meds that I'm taking over the past year or so, and it's like, I just have this resistance to just and he's like, it's no big deal. Just, it's fine. It's good. It's healthy for you. But I'm kind of like, I don't know if I can do this myself. So I'm in it. I'm in it to win it.
The only thing I need to fix my blood pressure is the Mariners starting rotation staying healthy for the next 80 games and pushing us over the top. That's all I need. My blood pressure it'll be Olympic swimmer levels, my resting heart rate. I know resting heart rate and blood pressure are different, but whatever. Go with me on this. If the Mariners just have like the second half of a baseball season to remember and they overtake the Houston Astros and they win the AL West, I promise you it'll fix everything wrong with me. Emotionally, spiritually, physically, financially.
What if we can't get into baseball talk right now. I'm excited to see if maybe we have some new faces on the team by the end of next week or whenever the trade deadline is. But
we have some old faces on this team.
Yes, we do.
Including
Thank
our
you.
friend, TBTL employee numero uno, John Sklarov.
He's a really charismatic guy. He's funny. He cusses a lot.
Who's also joining us right now. Hello, sir.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Great.
Good, man. This is a big day for you. Like, we're talking about baseball, high-leverage situations. This is a high-leverage situation for John Sklarov, the TBTL-a-Thon.
Yeah, it's kind of like the thing I'm, I guess,
You're a
most
specialist.
responsible for.
Yeah, what's your walk-in music? Are you coming into, Enter Sandman, or what are you doing?
The Smurf song?
I actually have.
That would be my walk-up music. I love that.
That would really mess with the opposing team. Imagine the other guy's just over there in the on-deck circle, just swinging the weighted bat, and he just hears, la, 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 la.
I love that.
I play softball every week, and we have a playlist that's mostly comprised of like fun songs. Like, so there's like Dolly Parton's on there. It's like a real mix of like hype music and then also kind of lighthearted music. So it does somewhat have that effect when we're out
That's
there.
one of the great advancements, I think, in amateur baseball and softball. Is
Bluetooth speakers.
Yes, is basically you can now have walk-up music. I mean, this is something that the TBTL Junior Sluggers enjoy and utilize. Coach Ben even throwing in some drops and things. Nice. Like, it was very fun being at a game. I don't think it was happening as much in the most recent game, but in the first season, just like playing walk-up music for folks, and then again, literally playing audio drops during the game. It was almost like an episode of TBTL. I loved it.
I love that.
That's great.
So, we are, as both of you know all too well, we are now right at the sort of precipice of the Thon. Andrew and I are going to be flying first to Minneapolis on Sunday. Then we're all going to get in a car together, and we're going to road trip on down to Friendship, Wisconsin.
What's that drive again, John? I couldn't remember. 3 hours?
It's about 3.5 or so,
Okay.
give or take a little bit.
Should we put together a bit of an agenda of things to talk about in the car ride? How structured do we want the conversation to be in the ride from the Twin Cities?
Do you like structured, like talking like TBT business, or are we talking like baseball, or what are we?
We slot all of that in. I think that's
Slot all
exactly.
A lot of that will have to do with how well the first 2 games against Houston went for the Mariners.
Yes.
Sure.
Whether I want to talk a lot about baseball or whether I rather baseball were no longer a thing and Congress were clawing back funding from MLB through a rescission.
Can we agree that it is a good? I mean, listen, we're friends, and it's only sports, and it's none of that matters. But isn't it kind of good that the Mariners and Yankees aren't playing while we're all together?
That would be tough, potentially.
Especially knowing how that series ended, I don't know that I'd be able to look John in the eyes for the rest of the TBTL-a-Thon.
I have to say, and John, you probably heard this, but I was very sanguine after the first game that happened between the Mariners and Yankees. I went to that game, of course. And even though we lost, I somehow found a place in my heart to fit Yankees fans. I was just I was feeling pretty good. And then I think that last game where Brian Wu not only lost the no-hitter, we lost the shutout, we lost the game. Brian Wu's grandfather died shortly after the game.
Oh, that's
I
terrible.
think that really undid the goodwill that the first game that I had found. I think that pretty much erased it. So, yes, this is good that they're not playing each other.
And today is not about baseball. Today is actually, we have some really fun TBTL stuff to share with everybody. But we should just point
Somebody's
out
professional around
that
here.
by rooting for the Yankees, John has blood on his hands. That's all we're saying.
I'm just saying. The word I use is complicit. Complicit. Accessory to the death of Brian Wu's grandfather.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Anyway, so this seems like an ideal time. Ideal time to tell people about this year's TBTL-a-Thon.
Thank you for being a 10.
All right, we were. Let's just let the listeners way behind the curtain. All right, we were debating what kind of music we should play for this announcement, and we realized the song that our friend Leanie wrote for last year's Thon is extremely relevant to even this year's Thon, and let's just say the whole idea of the TBTL-a-Thon, right? The fact that it is about the tens, it is about friendship. It's about we're going to be in Friendship, Wisconsin, and so John, do you want to let the listeners know it's TBTL-a-Thon 16, which by the way I'm only recently learning about that if we're on number 16, it's TBTL-a-Thon 16 : what?
Banding together.
That's
TBTL,
nice.
banding together. I like it.
I like that.
It's punchy.
Yeah.
I like it.
It's punchy.
Yeah, so that's kind of whoops. I had one job here, which was
no. It's good. You got more than one job. You're playing a lot of audio over there.
I do. I have, and I'm not good at any of it. I was going to say, the idea came to us. What I don't know, probably half a year ago or something.
Yeah.
Where we were basically sort of kicking around how we were feeling, as people living in the wider world, independent of the fact that we do this show together, how we were all feeling just kind of the same anxiety I think that all of our listeners feel right now, and it seems to have only grown over time, which is wild. I kept thinking, well, something will give, somehow something good will happen, and we're still waiting for that moment. But this idea that we need each other, the three of us need each other, the tens need each other, we need the tens, this whole community that we need to really come together and band together. And I would say this is something that we've seen unfolding amongst the listeners at an even higher rate this year than historically. It's always been a thing where the tens really look out for each other and are just there for each other, whether it's through the book club, which, by the way, my mom recently joined, so watch out.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah.
So is she
Susie
joining
B
the Zoom
has
calls?
entered
Or
the
are
discourse.
They're doing it on Zoom, right? So is she joining the Zoom calls?
I guess she learned how to do Zoom through Bible Study Fellowship. So
Yes.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know what that's during the pandemic. Bible Study Fellowship went Zoom, and
A different kind of book club.
yes, that's right, the good book. She may be waving it about in the thing. All that is to say, the tens have always been really there for each other. I feel like that's been even stepped up this year because we do need to band together, and so it just seemed like kind of a natural, a natural theme for the Thon this year. And then it kind of led us in the direction of thinking about some of the premiums, some of the thank you gifts. Do we use the term premium even though this isn't technically public radio?
I don't even think in public radio you don't say premium on the air, do you? Isn't that something you say
really?
Behind the scenes? Do people say premium on the air? Does that mean anything to a listener?
I don't know. I think when it comes to public
That's just,
radio,
oh, yeah, right. That's just like an internal term that we use.
I think on the air you usually say thank you gift, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey,
Let's
Luke,
go with
speaking of banding together and being there for everybody and each other, would you like me to loop the music behind us so that you can play your sound effects? Because
That would
that's
be
kind of
amazing.
what was happening there. So why don't I start this going from my end over here? I don't know if they're going to
Beautiful.
overlap at all.
Let's see if we can do this. I'm going to fade mine down.
Okay.
This is mastery at work.
Honestly, seriously, we make the hard stuff look easy, and that's a problem for the show. We don't get the credit that we deserve because we do stuff like what you just heard. effortlessly.
Look at that.
And people think that this is an easy job. No, but I mean, that's the punishment for us making it look so easy.
That's right. That's right.
Thank you, Andrew. Good thinking. Good looking out.
Okay, so now you have your sound effects you can play on your end, and I think we should get them ready. We should start telling people what we're going to be giving away as thank you premiums for this year's Thon.
Thank you premiums.
Because
that's the sweet spot.
That's the sweet spot.
A thing that people know about and a thing that no one has any idea about.
Have you? So before we get into the specifics here, and I hope it's okay that I'm going to be the one to sort of start this news. We've mentioned a couple of times on the show that we have sort of a theme. Our gifts kind of are on a theme this year, and banding together means more than one thing, right? It means we're all coming together to help each other and look out for each other and be there for each other, but it also means we're in a band together.
Yeah, we are, dude.
That's right. We have a bunch of musical-themed gifts to give away this year. And, John, which one would you like to start with? Because some of it is the art that is going to be going on some of these instruments, too, right?
Well, should we just go in kind of like the giving level order? Or just kind of all over? Let's just kind of keep it easy?
Let's do it to it. Where would you like to start?
Let's just go with the first thing, which is this is actually the one that's not band.
We're doing great.
That's not music related, but we got some special requests for this, and we're like, oh, absolutely. Everyone who donates, no matter how much you give, will get a sticker version of the new TBTL billboard.
Love it.
In French, Wisconsin.
Yeah. That's honestly a very useful gift, and here's why I know this.
Yeah.
Because since we had that billboard idea, and then Andrew mocked it up and put it together, and now it's been up in Friendship, Wisconsin, I am constantly trying to show it to people, and I never have it at the ready. I'm always scrolling in my phone going, hold on. And I'm scrolling through a chain of emails between the three of us, trying to find some point at which it was referenced. And then what I wish I had was a sticker on my laptop that I could just say, this is what it looks like. That would be because it's coming up a lot in conversation for me. I think this is going to be very useful for the 10s.
Absolutely. Yeah. And so if you haven't seen it yet, let me describe it for you. This is the billboard I'm describing, which has also been shrunken down to be on a sticker for you. It features two, I'm going to say, incredibly handsome men in suits.
Dashing.
Dashing. Two men, arms crossed, facing away from each other like a couple of injury lawyers. And it says, cranky, bored, call 206-414-TBTL, the cure for global loneliness. And that can be yours for supporting the show.
Yeah.
Can I just say real quick about the billboard? I was at my therapist appointment yesterday, and I was talking. It's
John, would you like to list all medications that you're on currently, please?
What's your blood pressure?
That's a HIPAA violation.
Yeah, right.
But I was talking about and this is not to be alarming, but anxiety around the Thon, just general.
Sure.
We got trying to raise money, and I was telling her about the billboard, and I showed her a picture, and even my therapist thought it was hilarious. And she doesn't know you guys. She doesn't listen to the show, but she saw the picture and thought it was the funniest thing.
I love that that's how you're using your therapy sessions. You're like, well, here's the root of most of my issues. And you just show her that billboard.
No, not the root of them. Just a
contributing factor.
Yeah, just one other anxiety. Anyway,
just a comorbidity, essentially.
So that's what everybody gets, a sticker version of the billboard. Okay,
excellent.
now on to the music, right?
Yes.
Making music here.
Banding together.
The next level up from the everyone gift is we're gonna have a special TBTL laser engraved harmonica.
Nice.
Are you?
I see.
I got confused for a second.
Do you hear the crowd cheering for that harmonica music?
That's really good.
Like a Rolling Stone.
Oh, like Bobby Zimmerman.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful.
For a second, John, I did get confused for a second because I was like, we're not giving away a laser. I honestly was like, laser? What are we?
A laser balding harmonica. God, now that's a product. That's $1 million idea.
Laser balding harmonica.
Sure, to specify. To clarify.
You don't need to stop while I'm creating gentle background noise with my TBTL laser engraved harmonica.
Andrew, is that auto mute working, or is it?
Yeah, let's see. When does the AI kick in and knock Luke off of this broadcast? Oh wow, that's beautiful. That does everything.
That sounded like music.
That does everything bed music should do. It's just
guys,
it's easy to talk over. It's relaxing.
You guys, by the way, welcome to the next 7 days of your life at the Airbnb in Friendship.
I think I'm going to have to rent another room
You hear
somewhere.
this emanating from my room down the hall.
Okay, well then, all right. We're jumping around here, John. I know you want to go in order,
No,
but I'm going to jump out of order because if Luke is
around.
claiming harmonica responsibilities, I want to jump in here and do you mind if I reveal it? Do you mind if I reveal it? My friends, would like to take over melodica. Responsibilities.
That's the saddest thing I've ever heard.
Or possibly melodicas. Now I don't have one here right now because it's already on its way to the Twin Cities.
Oh, you mailed it. It's in Minneapolis. It's in St. Paul.
St. Paul.
Oh, that's right. It's in your living room right now. But when we arrive in Friendship, Luke will have one. He'll have like a bandolier. What do you call the thing that goes?
Bandolier.
A bandolier full of like harmonicas.
It'll be John Popper style from Blues Traveler.
But I will be carrying around a melodica, which if people don't know what this is, first of all, check out the email that's coming out later today. This is it's a keyboard that it's wind powered, it's breath powered. You blow into it to play, and you can either hold it in front of you like one of those characters in the Star Wars cantina, or it has a tube you can put in it, and you can set it down on the table in front of you, and you blow into it, and you hit chords and keys on the piano keyboard. I had never seen or held one of these things in real life before, and I touched it the other day, and I'm a changed man. I am melodica boy now.
I also like that you said it's wind powered at first, as if it's like a green energy. The melodica.
It is actually. It's part of the Green New Deal.
It's laser powered.
Andrew, would you say that when you touched the melodica, suddenly you turned in
the man who brought the rock and roll edge to the Eagles?
A lot of people don't know that the rock and roll edge was actually the sound of a melodica.
Yes. It was a melodica.
Exactly. I am really psyched about this. So this is just a really, really fun toy. I mean, it's a real melodica, and it's got a little TBTL logo on there. But
that sounds like something that your uncle, who had a lot of salty phrases, would say about something. It was a real melodica, if you know what I mean.
I had a buddy over here the other day as I unwrapped the sample version of it, and he had never heard of one of those before, and his eyes just got so wide, and then he played with it for the rest of the time he was over here. I think it's a very addictive thing, and so I'm claiming that for our friendship band, if that's okay.
So that's fine. If we're claiming instruments, should I announce the next item, which I guess I'm claiming?
Yes, please.
We also, in addition to the harmonica and the melodica, on offer will also be a TBTL tambourine. Which I don't know if you guys want to describe. That is relevant because the coolest part about the tambourine is our friend Max designed a graphic. Do we wait for the newsletter?
No. Describe this baby in great detail.
Okay, so it is a graphic of the three of us was what it is, but re-envisioned as the Chipmunks. Reimagined as the Chipmunks, which when we were conceptualizing this as an item, we're like, what's the graphic? What's the thing going to be on? Is it just going to say TBTL? Is it going to be something else? And I think the three of us were on a Zoom call, and we're just kind of kicking around ideas. And we're like, well, the Chipmunks was like a really fun thing. Maybe we do something with that. And then simultaneously, all three of us came to the immediate realization that the viral Chipmunk moment, for people that don't remember, you guys discovering that the Chipmunks covered Bob Dylan, and the song was Mr. Tambourine Man. So it's like this, unicorn brain exploding moment of that's it. That's the graphic. And Max did an awesome job creating it.
It turned out really, really good. Like, it makes me, there's a lot of art associated with this, starting with the billboard and then with something else that we're going to talk about in a minute, that I just was endlessly pleased with the sort of final result. But this tambourine is got to be up there. It might be the top one for me. It's just really kind of charming.
It's so funny. Seeing the three of us as depicted as Alvin and the Chipmunks is fantastic. And so you get this tambourine with Max's art right on there, and you too can be a Mr. Tambourine Man.
You can be Mr. Tambourine or Mr. Tambourine person or whatever. We're not. So those
are the Chipmunk who brought the rock and roll edge to the Eagles.
Yeah. So those are the.
You know what?
That's not going to get old next week.
Can I just say that, not to look ahead past the Thon already, but I am looking forward to the gathering that we're going to be having in the park on Friday, the 25th, after the Thon. And I'm telling you guys, I know that we're, trying not to bring alcohol in the park, but after that celebration, I am going to get so chipwrecked. That was it. That was the lead up. That was the lead up for the joke. I'm sorry.
Thank you. Tremendous stuff. Moving along.
Tremendous.
Moving along. So the last physical premium, I say physical item, because there are, of course, if you give $15 or more a month, you'll be thanked on air, like as has been in the past. Dazzling donors will also be able to send in their personalized message, and then people at the highest level above Dazzling will also be able to get a personalized cameo like video like we did in the past too. So those are the non-physical items that we're also be doing. But the last tangible item is TBTL's greatest hits on vinyl.
This is special. This is special.
Yeah. So that's there's
Nobody thought it could be done.
Nobody thought it could be done.
Nobody thought a podcast could release a vinyl album of greatest hits.
That's right.
Yeah.
But that is us.
So that's
once again blazing a trail, really honestly, for the industry.
Yeah.
So here's the deal. This literally is a full 12-inch record, just like whether or not you have a turntable, I'm telling you, you are going to want
the
to
artwork.
Own this record. Like if you don't have a turntable, you take this record and you put it up on your mantelpiece. You find the place in your home that has the most traffic and the most views, and you put this record up there. Maybe you even hang it on the wall because it is it's a recreation of a classic 1970s kind of greatest hits looking record with me and Luke kind of portrayed. What would you call this kind of pencil drawing?
I don't even know. It's it's beautiful.
Yeah.
It's I don't know the art term for it, but it's sort of like a pencil drawing, but then filled in with like almost watercolor or something.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's really great. We were so excited. We knew exactly what we wanted, and then we found an artist to create it for us. And so it's a classic vinyl record, TBTL's greatest hits.
Yeah. So that's the other item that will be up available for folks. And I'll just say too, like at the different giving levels, you'll be eligible for like one or multiple things. So that'll all be detailed on the website today, starting today, right, Andrew? Will people be able to get eyes on the artwork?
You can donate early if you want to. So basically, by the time you hear our voice, there will be a link at the top of TBTL.net that says donate. There will also be a couple of RSVP buttons there if you want to join us for any of our activities next week. But click that donate button in the middle of the page. You can see all of these gifts as we've described them. And if you wanted to get ahead of the Thon and donate a little bit early or upgrade your donation level or whatever it is, it'll all be laid out there for you at TBTL.net.
And I just want to say, just on that note, like a little housekeeping stuff, if you're currently giving monthly and you go to the website and say, I'm giving, $10 a month, which gets me the harmonica and the sticker, I'm happy with that, and you just want to let it roll, you don't have to do anything.
You literally don't have to do anything. And that's a change, right? Back in the day, with APM, if you were already a donor, but you wanted your gifts, you still had to fill out a form to get your gifts.
Yeah,
no more,
we've simplified, we've streamlined that. And so it's just like, if you're giving $10 a month, you're going to get the $10 a month gift. You're already going to get it. So don't worry about doing anything. If you, like Andrew said, if you want to like upgrade to get the next level, you can certainly, there's an option to do that as well. But, that's
very exciting. And if people don't know what level they're giving at right now, if they've forgotten, they're like, "Oh, I want that. I want this, like, I don't know, tambourine, but I don't remember if I'm at the level." Would they just email you via the site?
Yeah, they can definitely email me, john@tbtl.net. I would say email Luke, but I don't think it would.
If you have any questions about the Thon or anything about your giving level, don't just email Luke directly. Luke at TBTL.net.
I've got all this. I mean,
you're taking care of all of that
with
year,
this
right?
stuff.
Yeah, that's good.
People know that.
Okay, great.
Just pulling a leg there. Yeah, definitely email me any questions you have about your giving
you
level.
You could hear the fear in John's voice.
John's like, no, but really, but no.
That was a joke. That was a joke.
Incredibly important financial information or questions would ever be going to my inbox. That would be a real disaster for the show.
Yeah. And also related to thank you gifts, because this is a thing I know comes up each year. If you have moved in the last year and you need to update your address or whatever to make sure you get your gifts whatever. We could talk more about that later, but just throwing that out there too. Anything related to your donation, send me an email.
Yeah, and so I mean, I guess the this is the Friday show, and so we're kind of, I guess this is sort of the unofficial kickoff of the Thon in that the thank you gifts are live and that the donate button is live, and so people can kind of go in there. And I mean, what would be cool is if you already sort of know that you're going to be helping support TBTL, and again, I feel a little sheepish about connecting these things, but I do think they are kind of in a larger way connected. This idea that like the kind of stuff we do, if you consider this to be a quasi sort of public radio venture, and it's not, we're a for-profit company, but I think we operate in the spirit of public radio in that we only exist because of you, the tens of listeners donating to the show. This feels like a week where there's sort of bad news all over the horizon for this kind of stuff that we're making, and we're still here somehow amazingly. And if you would like to just like take this sort of off your to-do list of like supporting TBTL so you can go through the weekend just kind of without having it in the back of your mind, and then next week just enjoy the content, which is going to be actually pretty great. It would also be nice for us. It'd be great if we could start off Monday in Friendship, Wisconsin, kind of looking at the ledger and going, okay, this feels like we're going to get to be here for another year. It puts a certain amount of wind in our sails to know that because like, to be honest with you, every year that we do this, it is a little bit of a question mark. It's like, is this going to work again? Are people going to voluntarily support this thing for, another year? And so I guess I'm just saying, if we have 0 donations by, let's say, Sunday afternoon, it's going to be a very long, very somber drive.
Somber drive. I thought you were saying somber week. We will
probably.
Can you play that?
Honestly.
Can you do me a favor? Play the harmonica as sadly as you can right now. Let's hear a sad harmonica. Okay.
Hold on.
We don't want this. Do we want this all next week?
Do you want me, listeners, do you want me doing this from the back seat of the rental car for 3+ hours between St. Paul and Friendship?
Listeners, I do not want this for 3+ hours.
If that's bumming you out, you haven't even heard John's sad tambourine yet.
The world's saddest tambourine.
And even Sarah, this is just an audio right now. Imagine when we're out live on the YouTube and people have to see it. That's pathetic.
Yes. I feel like there's going to be, when we get all the instruments together and we're in the same room, it's going to be it's really going to feel like the when like Josie and the Pussycats would get together. That might be a little old for your reference point, John, but there would be this, they would have a band, and then sometimes I think some of the Archies would just be in the background with the tambourine.
They would.
I feel like that's going to kind of be us, but more chipmunky.
They remade Josie and Pussycat's movie in the 2000s or something like that.
Rosario Dawson, I believe, was one of the stars. And
you can watch
Rachel
like
Lee Cook, maybe.
You can watch full episodes. I mean, I wouldn't, and I never have done this just as kind of visual spackle in the background while you're playing darts. But you can watch full episodes of Josie and the Pussycats and their crossover episodes with the Archies on YouTube. Yeah, the original ones. It's pretty fun. You can even, and again, I wouldn't do this, but you can even snip little bits of it and use it as gifts in the TBTL newsletter. Like, if that's something that you're into, you can do that. I don't know who would be.
So there you go. That's the kind of that's the plan for the theme for the. I don't now. Listen, I don't. Andrew, you're not going to like me saying this.
Oh no!
But what would be fun, I think, at some point down the road, and I don't know what this will look like, how we'll do this. If maybe this would just be at a TBTL live event or online. But I would love it if at some point we were able to get together a large group of people, either in person or virtually. And if I can use a parlance of my church days growing up, if we could get the tens together and kind of make some kind of joyful noise, like some sort of extremely rudimentary music making involving the melodicas, the tambourines, the harmonicas, like, I don't know even what the song would be, or if it would just be full improv jazz, maybe a cosmic stew.
But cosmic gumbo?
I would like to, a cosmic gumbo, maybe. I think it would be fun. I mean, this is the whole idea of banding together is literally us just needing each other, us needing all of you so we can keep having this job, and us all needing each other just to kind of be some sort of a safe place and a good place to be together, considering the wider world and how threatening it all feels. But like, it would be cool if also there was some kind of a final like musical output from everybody having all of these harmonicas and tambourines and melodicas. So I don't know what that's going to look like.
Are we out in the field somewhere, like that Coke
Probably.
commercial from the 60s?
as written by what's his name from Mad Men, Don
Draper. Yes,
Don Draper
yes,
original.
Yes, exactly.
I do think. Here's what I will say. I do think that the harmonicas will be confiscated from me.
Yes.
By the end of next week. That's a promise.
Absolutely.
So I
Can we
don't know
do
if
a
I'll be
song
allowed
called
to.
I'd like to teach the world to blurs, and that's what we're all on a grassy field together, and we're all doing a song called I'd like to teach the world to blurs.
Luke, the harmonica might be confiscated from you before you get in the car.
What are the chances the TSA will take it away from you on Sunday morning at PDX?
I hope.
Yeah, let's see.
They put it up. I love the idea that like when you see, this is like always kind of a burr under my saddle. All the things like the TSA loves to show all the things they've confiscated to try to make us think it's such a dangerous world. And it's just like a mace, one of those things you swing that's got spikes on it. There's like an antique gun. There's a blunderbuss that like somebody was taking to like give their grandfather, and then there's just this Hohner harmonica.
I like one that actually says TBTL on it, or like even on the posters, things that are prohibited to bring through TSA, and it's literally a harmonica that says TBTL on it.
Yeah, we caught a guy at PDX at 5 a.m. on Sunday morning just playing this thing in line. And we immediately a dog smelled it in his luggage as he was getting close to the TSA. But
I get worried. Sometimes I see those dogs coming. I'm like, oh, they're going to smell all the drugs on me. And Genevieve says, no, don't worry about it. It's just a harmonica sniffing dog. And I'm like, oh, thank goodness.
I always want to pet those dogs.
I honestly, I don't typically have any drugs on me when I'm traveling, nor anything that's prohibited. But maybe it's just my long-standing history as a sketchball, but I get very nervous when those dogs come around my luggage. I will literally think, is there something in there there's not supposed to be, or did somebody plant something, or I don't know. There's something about a drug sniffing or weapon sniffing or whatever they're sniffing for, a dog coming by me that, what's that, bomb sniffing?
I think is really what they're doing, right?
Harmonica sniffing.
Yeah.
It just puts me on edge. And every time I get past them, I feel like I'm Johnny Depp in Blow. Like I've somehow gotten past them once again, even though I'm not even smuggling anything.
Just say hello to my little friend. You're just whispering that very quietly.
Yeah,
that's another drug
subtly.
reference. Anyway, I am very excited. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I think we're all pretty amped up.
We're pretty hyped. I think the TBTL-a-Thon has gotten everybody a little bit excited.
Of course it has.
Santa's come early.
Yes. So
that mean old bastard.
Please, right now, if you're hearing this, go to TBTL.net. And if you can go to TBTL.net and support the show and get things off to a strong start for Monday when things start in earnest from Friendship, Wisconsin, from the Historical Society there on Main Street. That would be really cool.
And just one reminder, too, programmatically, if you want to watch us live, we keep on talking about how we're broadcasting live on YouTube next week if everything goes properly. We plan on starting our live YouTube stream, which you can watch at tbtl.net at 12 p.m. local time in Friendship, so that's Central Time, 12 p.m. Central, which is 10 a.m. West Coast time, and you can do the math for all the other time zones. But that's when we'll be broadcasting live on Monday, or at least that is the plan.
Yes. That is the plan.
That is the plan.
I'm choosing to remain optimistic about everything technically working out there. I'm very confident, Andrew, in your packing skills. You know what I'm the most confident in? Your worrying skills. And I think your worrying skills led your packing skills to be par excellent. So I think the actual recording of the show, the miking of the show, all of that is going to be just fine. And I don't know. I choose to believe that John, you said the offices there at the Historical Society in downtown Friendship, they're pretty, you were impressed. It's a pretty legit setup. So, I mean, I choose, I don't know, that does not in any way indicate anything about the speed of the internet, but which you've actually run a speed test on, so we actually have that number. I choose to believe if they have nice office furniture, somehow the internet won't let us down.
It just, it felt very, for like a small rural town's Historical Society, the office space was just very like, I don't know, modern's the right word, but it just felt very professional in a way, not to demean historians in any way, of course, but it just felt, it felt like it was all on the up and up, very legit, and I feel confident about it.
And didn't you say that the Wi-Fi speed is 113/73? Or am I confusing? I'm confusing my readings again.
I think you're confusing numbers,
Okay.
but yeah, it was good. It was definitely good. It was good. So and we have some Ethernet cables, so it's not just Wi-Fi, right? So I think we're feeling good.
Yeah, feel free to dig through that box that is that I sent you, John, with that equipment in there. See if there's anything that strikes you. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for somebody else to blame when it all comes crashing down.
Well,
when I start freaking out on Sunday.
Yeah. I definitely don't know what to look for. So I have implicit and explicit or all the illicit trust in you,
Okay,
Andrew.
thank you.
Oh, good. That's really lowering the pressure on this on this poor guy.
No,
Andrew, what's your blood pressure right now? Let's get a live.
Oh my
let's get
God.
a live reading.
I do sort of want to take that. I'm not going to waste.
Don't screw this up.
I have too much other literal equipment I need to pack. So I can't be bringing toys like my blood pressure monitor. But man, I kind of do want to make that a bit throughout the week. Like, how is Andrew's blood pressure, and how can you help it?
Yeah. All right. Well, John, thank you. I mean this for all of your work. Just getting so many I's dotted and T's crossed before this. Like, you're constantly thinking of something that I certainly haven't thought of, and maybe Andrew didn't either. And then it's usually something pretty critical to the operation. So thanks for keeping us on track for this. And I'm gonna, you know what? Here's the stat line on this. You faced 3 batters. You hit a guy, but that's the problem is he was crowding the plate, and you weren't going to give in and just throw him a fastball. But then you induced a double play after that, so you basically faced the minimum.
Okay.
So this is a really good. Your ERA remains at 0.
Thank
and
you.
I think this was a sterling performance in a high leverage situation.
Did I hit the bat? Or you say he was leaning in? It wasn't
Well,
retaliation.
he was leaning in, but again,
it wasn't retaliation.
It wasn't retaliation.
Yeah.
It was just you were just pitching your pitch, and they.
I'm an inside pitcher. Yeah.
Exactly, and if they, but again, you were able to induce the ground ball after that and get the double play, so you still face the minimum. So you're still, I think you're still really performing in the task that we've tasked you with. So thank you for all of that.
Yes,
thank you.
And thank you, Luke, for keeping it relatable.
I consider you the Norm Charlton, or Norm Charlton.
Stu knows that guy.
He does. It's crazy. All right, thanks, John.
Cool. Thank you, guys.
Bye.
Hello and welcome to Top Story.
I'm wondering, Andrew, if we should have done the broadcast-related news of the day first and then done the TBTL-a-Thon announcement second, so we could kind of go out on a high point instead of going out on a kind of ominous
Well, I'll tell you what.
But I guess it is what it is.
I was even thinking, I have a little secondary top story that I will share with you at the very end.
Thank you.
Of
a
the
lagniappe
show.
of positivity?
Yes. Well, of intrigue at the very least that will take us off of this
we'll
topic.
take it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually, I don't know if it's interesting or not, but it was my experience yesterday as I was about to go walk out onto this stage in Portland at this place called Kiln, where we were doing a Livewire pop-up. I saw on my phone like a push notification that said CBS has announced that it's going to be ending or canceling the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, which I was sort of shocked by. But what I didn't realize at the time was that he had been. So my first thought when I saw this announcement was, that's pretty grim, but I'm not shocked because what I know is that all of these late night, these big kind of expensive late night shows are really struggling, whether it's the Tonight Show with Fallon. I don't know as much about the bottom line of Kimmel's show. I also don't know if Kimmel's show is maybe a little cheaper for ABC, like if it's just maybe, I don't know, maybe it just has a little bit less production going on or something. But because, for instance, I know that a while ago, the Tonight Show, they went down to 4 nights a week. So that was a cost-cutting measure. But I wasn't shocked to see that CBS made this announcement generally, or made this decision. But then when I started looking into it and the news of this morning, which is that, I missed the part where Stephen Colbert had called out Paramount and CBS for this Trump deal that they've made, which, for those that don't know, basically Trump sued Paramount and CBS for a complete and total nothing burger that involved 60 Minutes and a way in which 60 Minutes was airing their content, which is extremely typical in the news business. The argument, the harm that apparently happened to Trump himself was in CBS airing this interview with Kamala Harris in a certain fashion, which again is completely in line with normal journalistic standards. It misled voters in Texas. And even though Donald Trump won Texas by a lot in the presidential race, he would have won by more. Because if not for the harm that was done, so this case was localized to the state of Texas, because my guess is it's a friendly place for Trump to try this, and therefore CBS and Paramount owed Donald Trump millions of dollars over this. I mean, it is a preposterous case on its face, and yet CBS settled it because it would appear CBS, they want to do this merger with this other. They want to basically absorb by this bigger company called Skydance. Paramount does. And that has to be approved by the FCC, i.e. Donald Trump. And so it appears at every possible level and with every just normal reading of the situation that CBS and Paramount have decided it's worth, I think this final number was maybe $16 million or something, to just make this basically payment so as to make nice with the administration, so as to get this thing approved. And Stephen Colbert called it a bribe on his show.
Big fat bribe.
And here we are, I don't know, whatever, 5-6 days later, and CBS announces that this is a purely financial decision, that this has nothing to do with the content of Stephen Colbert's show, and it has nothing to do with the performance of the show as far as the ratings. It is just a financial decision. And if they had done this, if they had announced this a year from now, I think I would buy that a lot. I'd be a lot more inclined to buy that explanation. The timing of this is incredibly suspect. It is just very, very, very hard to believe that it is not related to the fact that Stephen Colbert has been, regularly and reliably a pretty harsh critic of Donald Trump's.
Yeah, I don't have the article in front of me, but I was really locked into this story as it was breaking and I don't know if developing is the right word yesterday, but I think the timeline is he made again, I can't say you can draw a direct line from this one particular joke that he made about the big fat bribe or observation or whatever, but that was on Monday's show on the 14th. He apparently was told on Wednesday night that they're just totally canceling the show, and then he made the announcement, the East Coast feed Thursday, which was yesterday, and immediately. So this is, I wanted to ask you, Luke, and I wasn't even sure if we wanted to talk about it because your connection to CBS and how comfortable you'd be, and I'd be fine with that if you just were like, listen,
I mean,
this is just, how can you not?
I don't think I'm a big enough fish for anyone to be interested in frying me.
I got to be honest with you. So I thought that I was texting you and Chris some stuff yesterday, just kind of joking around about it. And in the back of my head, I was even like, I'm sorry, not joking around about this, just about something else. And in the back of my head, I almost wondered, is this inappropriate? Because is Luke like on a million text chains with all of his CBS folks like talking about this? I thought that this was maybe rocking your world last night. But am I wrong about that? Was it more like you kind of woke up this morning and you kind of realized the implications of this? You weren't I don't know why I was so deep into this shit last night.
I think I was distracted because we were doing this Livewire show, and I was walking on stage when I got the info. Then we're doing the show. Then I'm kind of driving home, kind of decompressing from the show.
Yeah.
And again, I didn't know. I mean, I guess I knew on some level that Stephen Colbert has been very, very critical of the Trump, and of course, very satirical and biting way. But what I didn't realize was that he had just recently called out specifically the payoff to Trump as a big fat bribe. And then that was when it started to feel more sinister to me. Because like I said, the complicating factor in this is, if you would have asked me yesterday at 3 o'clock West Coast when this news was not public, what do I think the long-term prospects are for any of these big network late night shows, whether it's Colbert, Fallon, or Kimmel? What do I think what's the 10-year survivability rate? I would say 0%. Because it's just not the way that as many people are getting their content anymore. In fact, all of these shows now seem to primarily be clip machines, clip generation machines. Like, if they're lucky, there's a moment that gets created that then gets onto the internet and then flies around and gets lots of views on YouTube, which I guess you could sort of monetize. What they're not really anymore is something that a lot of people are like turning on at 11:30 or midnight and just kind of watching from beginning to end. It's just not enough people watching it that way anymore. And that has nothing to do with politics or Stephen Colbert or any of them. It's just kind of how viewing patterns are going. So I guess when I first saw the announcement, I was like, man, things are bleak at CBS. Like, we're just running out of money fast. That was my first thought. And then, again, as I read more about it, I started to think, it's Occam's razor, as we talk about a lot on this show. And when you hear hoofbeats, you don't assume it's a zebra. The simplest explanation is usually the one that is accurate. And what we have here is a network, I'll call Paramount a network, that is trying desperately to get sold to this larger entity, Skydance, and really, really do not want to anger the current administration. And they've got somebody who is one of their main faces of the network who is regularly angering the current administration. And also, it's the highest rated of these shows. It's not like it's been lagging. It's not like that's another thing that's weird. It's like, okay, maybe none of these shows are doing great, but this seemed to be doing the best of any of them. I cannot, it seems impossible to me with this timing that it is unrelated in some way to content.
And of course, people were saying, if you think this doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump, just wait for him to start bragging about it later. And of course, I don't know if you saw that, but he got on his stupid social media platform and started like writing, and just, I don't even want to quote it here, but just the usual, like, I'm glad finally to see this happen. And then he's like, Kimmel's next. I know Kimmel's next. And it's like this just chilling effect of this guy who he's just like, he was such a dangerous pest when he wasn't the most powerful man on the globe because of his desire to just like control everybody through what would otherwise be frivolous lawsuits, except now he's in power. And just, I mean, the word chilling doesn't even begin to describe how I feel about this. And, there are so many things going on right now that I don't want to like kind of weight this against the public broadcasting thing versus what's going on with rounding up innocent U.S. citizens and also, innocent immigrants who are here. I mean, what is the horrors that are going on in the country right now? It's like you can't even balance them all in your head at the same time. And so I don't know.
And ranking them is a dangerous game.
Ranking them is a dangerous game, but I'm going to do it anyway. Do you have any game show music over there?
I do.
No. But I don't know. To the Chipmunks.
Closest I had to the Chipmunks.
What is the show title? The Man Who Brought the Rock and Roll Edge to the Chipmunks, or the Chipmunk that brought the rock and roll edge to the Eagles? I'm not.
The Man That Brought the Rock and Roll Edge to the Chipmunks. I think is the way to go.
I don't lower my eyes to another chipmunk.
No.
Anyway, I'm sorry I'm all over the place. Maybe it's because I don't want to talk about this, but I do want to talk about this. But even I think Chris, had a nice blue-ski about this yesterday. When I say nice, I just mean very succinct and just saying like this, when the government, and again, you can't draw the direct line here, but I will say what I believe is happening when you have a despot that is essentially, shutting up comedians, silencing comedians who are speaking truth to power. Like this is really bad. And again, Taylor Tomlinson lost her show on CBS a little bit before
she
all
walked
this
away
happened.
from it.
Oh,
she
did?
quit that show. Yeah.
Okay, so that has nothing to do with the chilling thing at all, although
it has to do with the larger trend in these late night shows, which is to say the trend of them going away, because there's just not. And by the way, that After Midnight was a show that I think it was supposed to answer the question of people. It was supposed to solve the issue of people not tuning into these shows by basically making a show that its job was to generate viral clips. The idea was, we'll put on this TV show. We'll hope some people watch it in real time, but what we're really trying to do is make a thing that people watch the next day and that it gets clipped and memeified and that it, And by the way, all indications were that it was going to be renewed. It was actually kind of working, but Taylor Tomlinson, I think, missed doing stand-up and didn't really love the lifestyle of being a TV host. But yeah, this is why, to me, this is why the whole thing is tricky, because on the one hand, you do have the fact that the business model is just not working, and so these shows are, I think, going to go away. But like you said, this is just the worst way for it to be happening, because this feels like a direct kind of causal relationship between being critical of the sitting president and losing your show. And it's really, it is, to use the word again, it is incredibly chilling, because here's the problem. If you are a person who is considering either keeping your job and paying your mortgage and keeping your lifestyle, or saying something critical of the president, 99% of the time, whoever you are, whether you're Stephen Colbert or just a wimpy podcaster like me, most of the time people are going to choose preserving the life as they know it. They're going to say, well, this is not worth it. I mean, that's exactly what a chilling effect is. And when, and it is really, and then this is happening, on the same week that you have Congress essentially handing its one kind of responsibility and its one perk, which is the power of the purse, over to the president, and defunding public radio and public television. Those were already, the budget had been approved. The budget had been signed by the sitting president to pay for the to keep funding the Corporation for Public Broadcasting and all of this stuff that's been now through a rescission act. They basically said, yeah, we already said, we are Congress, we approved this, this was signed off on, it's all been, the money's been promised, but now the president's asking us to claw it back, and we're going to do that. Therefore, we no longer really control the power of the purse. And the fact that, and this is where it's like, Tip O'Neill, I think, said all politics is local. There's so much, like you said, so much bad going on in the country, in the world, around a lot of this stuff, and so much of it is really hitting people who are so vulnerable. I'm a little embarrassed that, like, once they come for public radio, I feel especially threatened. But that's just how we are as humans, This is like literally a job of mine is hosting a public radio show that's on a lot of these stations that are now going to be very, very much in danger. And there's something about this all happening in the same week that it just, not to center myself in the story, because I'm still very privileged and very, very lucky with everything that's happened in my life. And this is not taking away my health coverage, unless they cancel Livewire, in which case it is literally taking away my health coverage. But it's just a really, really, really depressing week in the wider world. And I'm kind of sort of weirdly glad that we're going into the Thon, because I think I really need that. I think I really need next week to just sort of get together with you guys and get together with the listeners via the Zoom and just the activities and the picnic on Friday. I think I need to just get around the people who love us because this is a dark week, man.
Yeah, it really is. Last night I was really it felt like it had all kind of, with all these various headlines and all these storylines kind of happening. I was deep into I don't even know if it was doom scrolling last night, but just like kind of drinking up all of the awful news of the day. I guess I'm going to be a little personal here, and I don't even know. I'm starting this, and I don't even know how it's going to end. But, we were kind of laughing about it. I kind of got obsessed with my Clayton Kershaw rant again yesterday. Just, and I don't even have to set that story up. You probably know what I'm talking about. But I had sort of slammed him and his somewhat subtle protests over the years of celebrating LGBT pride events and stuff. And it's tied to his religion, and so I just kind of slammed him a couple of days ago, and then I got this email from a listener, I think yesterday morning, that really stuck in my head, that just said, listen, like, we can also kind of extend grace when possible as well. And I was sort of shadow boxing on yesterday's show a little bit with this idea of, do I extend grace to somebody who says their bigotry comes from their religion, which is the very sharp-elbowed way that I think I put it yesterday or implied it. But also, I have lived my whole life actually really believing more in the worldview of the listener who wrote into me, which is, when possible, do extend grace. And I don't think Clayton Kershaw has been, like, on stage, like, with a microphone in hand saying, like, directly homophobic things. Pardon me. But I still take his actions as being homophobic. But the thing is, like, there's a place in that conversation to truly hear the more nuanced conversation from all angles. And yesterday when I was talking about it, and yesterday when a listener wrote in to say, hey, and again, they weren't even making an argument. They weren't even defending him. They were just saying, like, let's just literally, like, at times find ways to extend grace or give people the benefit of the doubt. And yesterday when I was sort of shadowboxing with that idea, it's maybe because that's who I usually am and that's who I used to be. And now I've lost patience, with everything. And I don't want them to turn me into somebody who sees the world in such an angry black and white way. But I do right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. That's the feeling that we are changing in response to what's going on in the world in a way that we don't want to be changing, whether it's making us more fearful, and we don't want to be fearful people. Like, I've been annoyed at politics. I've never been fearful about politics, And again, that's a lot of privilege. That's because I'm not a person who's usually in the crosshairs for this stuff. And to a degree, I'm still not. It's not my bodily autonomy that's under threat. It's not my health care, specifically. But so that's a really bad feeling, to feel like we're changing in response to the sort of negative sort of stimuli of this whole thing. But also, and I don't know why I'm expanding this into a whole other area that we don't have a lot of expertise on, but I've been, reading and listening a lot to sort of like, well, where do the Democrats go from here? Where do progressives go from here? And I will say, to the point, actually, I don't know if it was the point of that person who emailed you or not, but to a theory around the Clayton Kershaws of the world and the movement towards, let's just say, getting back to having some normal leadership and having maybe a Democrat or somebody with a D behind their name sitting in the office of president. Something I've heard from a lot of people is that the Democratic Party is going to have to become more okay with having more people involved in it who do hold some beliefs that we don't share. Because the challenge has been that there is sort of been a purity test. And if a person was not, the Democratic Party is really a coalition of a lot of different interest groups, a lot of people who have, the Republican Party is not. It's sort of typically one group of people that just basically feel like they want less government. They don't like that the social mores are changing. It's a fairly, consistent and kind of uncomplicated, in a way, worldview. And the Democrat Party is made up of a whole bunch of different people who have different things that are very important to them, whether it's social justice, whether it's, a whole bunch of different things. And a thing that's been a challenge is that we have been in a position where, like imagine this. Imagine if Clayton Kershaw wanted to vote Democrat, but also write that Bible verse on his hat. Would he be allowed in the party?
Of course, anybody can vote. See, and this is where I don't know if I want to get into this, but this is the argument that I've been having with Genevieve on public radio a lot in my times there. It's like, I'm on the other side of that now. Like, I am full on Bernie, AOC. Like, I am sick of conceding. They don't have to concede, and this is kind of what comes out of that.
Do you think there are enough people? This is a real question.
Yeah.
I don't know the answer to this. Do you think there are enough people that if the Democrat move was to instead of trying to enlarge the tent, just make the tent more, I don't know, ideologically pure. Do you think there's enough people to vote that way to actually win elections?
Well, here's what I know, and I know I've said this on the show before, and you and I have talked about this, but like what I know is the Democrats ran a cop who promised to put Republicans on her cabinet, who made so many concessions to try to dress up a campaign to seem so inclusive. And what we got was a very, very evil campaign that made no concessions at all in power and is wielding that power in the most dangerous ways possible. I'm not a political consultant, and I'd be a terrible one. All I know is as a voter, I am voting for the people who are going to stand up. I am so sick of conceding.
Yeah. I mean, what I would say is that I think the reasons that Kamala Harris wasn't able to get elected are more broad than her trying to play to the middle. I totally agree with you that was very much a strategy of the campaign. I mean, I think if you look around, I think the original sin there is with Joe Biden not having, a real primary for, like, basically not handing the reins over to somebody else in such a way that there was only enough time left for it to be Kamala Harris, and it was impossible for her to differentiate herself from the Biden administration because she was part of it. And if you look around the world, just about every party that was in power coming out of the pandemic, which was to say when interest rates shot up, things got more expensive, life was sort of complicated in a new weird way, almost all of those parties were drummed out of power by like larger margins than the Democrats lost by. Meaning, I just think the Democrats were in a tough position that was echoed all over the world. By the way, I weirdly agree with you in that I could see a world in which the next Democrat president is AOC. And I'd be down with that. I would be totally down with that. But I guess what I mean is, like, I don't think that we have to go out and try to court the Clayton Kershaws of the world. But I think we also, like, I just think that the idea that it's going to have to be, I'm not saying you have to go play to the anti-pride people, but if the anti-pride people for some reason want to be part of it, I don't think we should kick them out for being anti-pride.
But I don't know what kick out means. Like, you're making it sound like somebody is saying, oh, Clayton Kershaw, I don't want you to vote Democratic. For the record, I want Clayton Kershaw to vote Democratic. I don't know what that means. I don't know who's telling him not to, or what contingent of Democrats are going around telling people not to vote Democratic.
Well, you're right. But I also know that there is definitely, I mean, for a long time, or not a long time, but for a period of time, there was a lot of pretty loud voices in like the social media space and other places that were very much, I think, kind of patrolling people's Twitter feeds for old tweets that were considered not appropriate or whatever. Like, there was a lot of analyzing of if people were sort of okay or not in terms of, all I'm saying is I think that I mean, I hope you're right. I mean, I would love to see a very progressive candidate win as a Democrat. I just want to win. I just want it. I want to have this. What's happening? I want it to stop, and whatever gets us there is what I'm in favor of. And
I don't think. By the way, I don't think I'm right because I'm not predicting a progressive victory. I don't know what to predict. I'm predicting in my heart just the worst possible scenario over the course of the next several decades, the rest of my life. That's what I'm predicting. I hope I'm wrong about that. I'm in a really dark place. So I'm not predicting anything or saying what is right or what is wrong. This is just a conversation that I keep having over and over, and I must be wrong because everybody is arguing with me about it. I just don't draw the connection between annoying people on Twitter bickering about progressive politics to the campaign that lost the election to these evil people. Like, I just think that what I'm seeing is the Republican Party doing a very, very good job, and the MAGA Party doing a very, very good job of convincing liberals that they were too liberal. I don't see that I did not see a super highly annoying woke campaign coming from Kamala Harris. I know that some decisions she made when she was in a different position, at a statewide position, those came back to haunt her. And you could say, well, those were too progressive policies. But that is not. But again, I think I used this analogy on the show the other day. It just sort of feels like the MAGA people are taking the Democrats' hands and punching us in our own face with our own hands and saying, stop hitting yourself. And that's sort of what I'm seeing. And people are like, well, there is too much, I'm in this meeting at work and I'm sick of, all these woke people policing my language or whatever. It's like, okay, that's fine. But I don't see the connection to that and the polls. That was not the Democratic strategy that lost. Those are annoying people online or in your workplace or whatever.
Sure. No, I agree with that. I mean, I totally agree with you that they were trying so hard with the Harris campaign, between picking Waltz and trying to, they were doing everything in their power to play to the middle. And I mean, I think there is also an argument that maybe if they wouldn't have, they would have lost by more, I don't know.
Maybe.
But I think what I hear you saying is that not from necessarily a kind of success-based strategy, but from just a moral strategy, a moral approach to life. You're feeling like whether or not it is victorious, it'd be sort of like being an abolitionist if that was not a politically popular position. You're sort of like, yeah, but I'm still an abolitionist, and I don't care if that means we win the election. What I'm supporting are what I think is the important sort of human decency of other people, and it's not about are we going to win, it's about what's right. Is that kind of what I hear you saying?
I guess I think that, and again, I think I'm simplifying this too much in a way that is probably just annoying because, and I really do, I am not a political strategist, but it's kind of like
I am. That's one of my many jobs.
Well, you do
about.
Actually. I mean, no, I will absolutely say that you follow this stuff and listen to very, very smart people talk about this stuff way more than I do.
And then repeat what they said incorrectly.
Still
That's
better
kind
than what I'm doing.
Special sauce.
Better than what I'm doing. But I just, I guess, and again, I'm just having this conversation because I'm really trying to understand it, and it's like this missing link in my head. It's kind of like, well, the party needs to be embracing more. I'm just kind of like, well, I just don't know what that means. Because again, I don't remember any Democrats saying you can't vote a Democrat because you don't have enough pride in the LGBT community. I just don't think that's ever been a message. I'm trying to figure out, politically, what does that mean? What policies are we throwing away? Like that drop we play. Only 10 commandments. Okay, which 2 to get rid of? But what are we turning our backs on?
Yeah.
Are we becoming more pro-gun? Are we becoming less tolerant of LGBT people? Do we turn our back on the trans community? When you say that, I don't know what that means as far as actually putting somebody in the White House. What do we give up there? What do we do to be more appealing? What's the plan?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't have an answer to that either. So this is where my political strategy business comes to an end, much like the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, because I don't know the answer to that question either. I think Marie Gluesenkamp-Perez is a very interesting. I'm not saying that in a way of we should every candidate should be following her lead, because she's voted a lot of things that are actually pretty annoying, and I don't agree with at all. But she has also managed to win 2 elections in the deep red Trump area, and in fact, one of the few people in Congress who can say that, who actually is nominally anyway a Democrat. Even though a lot of her policies the votes that she's made don't really look like the typical votes from a Democrat. Now, I don't know if that applies everywhere because we don't need that person. We don't need that political perspective in New York City right now or San Francisco. So that's one sort of thing is like, how does a Democrat get elected in a place that's mostly voting for sort of Republican and MAGA candidates? I mean, I don't know. I don't know the answer to any of this, Andrew, but I know that I have a lot of faith in the other topic that you said you wanted to bring up.
I was hoping you wouldn't forget things. I don't want to end
get
on
the
this
nose up
either.
on this. I don't even want to say negativity train. I want to say reality train.
Yeah.
But still, let's try to like head into the weekend and the Thon on something that's maybe 5% less bleak.
Well, first of all, I think that today's show is a true example that TBTL contains multitudes. Like
sure
we are hitting on a lot of different energy levels today, as well as topics, but
and musically
as well.
A musically rich program,
textured. And so this is. I forgot that you were on, or maybe I didn't know that you were on stage last night. So that would be why I texted this to you and Chris, and I didn't get a response from you, and I was like, oh no, I'm probably bugging you in the middle of all this CBS turmoil. No, I was bugging you while you're on stage performing. But I had a little bit of a tough day yesterday when I realized that our garbage wasn't going to be picked up.
Oh, yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, all 3 bins were out at the curb. As people who follow the special Blue Sky account that monitors my Blue Ski account
Please,
that monitors me
name.
Taking out my garbage bins. Of course, I'm always paranoid about this. I used to live in a place where they would routinely skip picking up my garbage, and then when I would call the city to complain, they'd say, oh, well, your garbage wasn't out on time according to the driver, so we're charging you for an extra pickup fee, which is the thing that sparked all of my paranoia about my garbage pickup. Well, at my new place now, I have this social media account on Blueski where I take photos of my bins at the curb every night, and so I have time-stamped proof that they were out at the curb on time and that there's no extra garbage in there and the lids aren't popped open and all this stuff. I just want proof of that. Well, since I've been doing that, everything has been really, really smooth. Yesterday, they empty my recycling first. That's right. It was a big garbage day, as we call it. Recycling first, so I bring that one back, and then
is that every other week or something?
That's every other week. Nice remembering. Okay. And then every week is yard waste pickup. They came later in the day and emptied that, and then they were getting a little bit late on picking up my black, regular garbage bin. And I had, I had thrown away a hose, but I had cut up the hose into a bunch of little pieces and wrapped them up really tightly, like so that they weren't popping out of the garbage. I was like, I think I can throw away hoses. This is how in my head I am with Seattle's trash pickup system. Yeah. But the truck never came to empty my garbage yesterday. So, and I'm starting to clock this around like 4:00, and I'm like, oh, I'm not allowed to complain about this until 6, but never do they wait longer until 1:30 or 2 to empty. You can just tell. You can just tell.
Yeah,
the bin tells you when it's ready.
The bin keeps the score. One of our favorite references.
The bin keeps the score, indeed. So I had to, but you can't file the complaint until 6 p.m. So I was watching.
5:59.
Yes, I kept going out and I'm looking, and I'm like, well, maybe I can just send it at 5:45. I'm like, no, just wait. And so I sit down behind my desk, and I was going to do it on my phone, but you need this was so irritating. You need your full account number to submit a complaint form or whatever. And nowhere on the site, even once you're logged in, do they present your account number in a way that is copy and pastable. I don't know if that's a
Monos,
security
the luggage
thing.
company.
It was ridiculous. But anyway, so I fill this thing out, and then I was like, oh, good, there's a space here where I can add any additional information that they might need. So I'm like, yes, they missed my garbage pickup. It was this time. This is my address. This is my account number. Any other information? And so I'm like, yes. And so I was able to link to my Blue Sky account. I was like, at the curb the night before as documented here. They leave so little space for comment that I had to rewrite that a million times and use mini or tiny URL to get that in there. But I wanted the city to see my bins were out there the night before. So I hit go on this form that I filled out. It goes into the Ethernet, and I'm like, I don't know how this is going to work out. I'm going to be leaving on Saturday. If they don't come on Friday, then Genevieve's gone. It's just it was just adding anxiety to me that I did not need, and that was so not necessary. Like, it's garbage. It'll work itself out. But I was just like, it just was like this hanging thread in my life. And I'm already prepared for the city to like not take care of this in some way. But then the local email chain started popping off, Lou.
Yes.
People are like, garbage wasn't picked up. People are like, I was walking down the street. I saw them north of this street and south of this street, but they weren't picked up. Turns out the good news part of this story is I am surrounded by my people. There have probably been 15 emails in the past 12 hours amongst the neighborhood email chain.
There are dozens of us.
People are like, I filed my report. Well, I didn't file one. When did they say it's going to come? They're like, well, it was an auto message that said it should be picked up the next day, but I don't trust the word should. And like everybody's like kind of freaking out about this. And I am just, I want it to start raining right now so I can walk out in the middle of the street and hold my arms towards the heavens and spin around and say, these are my people.
Yes, there are strength in numbers. I mean, it must feel like for you extremely validating as somebody who's just been, I mean, again, you set up a Bluesky account to document this. This has been actually across multiple addresses for you, a bugaboo. I don't like that. I like it. I wish I didn't know that it's bugaboo. I grew up calling it a bugaboo. I feel like that's easier to say, although it's actually longer. But isn't it technically bugaboo? Did we learn
I think
that?
we learned that recently. By the way, since I started talking to you, another email just came in from a neighbor. I just called and got a person who said it was after 10 a.m., so it would be tomorrow for pickup since they're already out collecting today. But if you filed online yesterday, it should be today. She had no way to look up the ones who filed online. Anyway, there's a lot of back and forth on this. But since I filed my complaint last night, and since it will be like so clearly like an issue with the whole neighborhood, I have so much more confidence that it's going to be emptied today.
Totally. Andrew, by the way, I told you we need a W around here, and I think we just got one. Bugaboo is in Merriam-Webster.
Bugaboo.
Ew,
So
with the
we
extra
can-
thing.
Yeah, so we can...
Bugaboo.
So if somebody is
Okay.
saying bugaboo, that's fine. Listen, it's a big tent, Andrew. I told you we need to get people saying bugaboo in the tent. But
Bugaboo.
we can also say bugaboo. I can go back to saying what I was saying my entire life growing up.
It
And that-
also just vaguely sounds like one of those words you shouldn't say. Like, I say that sometimes, but I always pause. I'm like, wait, is that an okay word to say?
Bugaboo.
I don't know
Yeah,
why,
it
but it
does
sounds
seem
on the
like
edge.
Like it's the backstory is not going to be great.
Exactly. Nobody
Somehow
explored the-
involves the Chinese Exclusionary Act of 18 whatever or something like
Right.
Bugaboo.
Exactly.
But I don't think it does, and we can say bugaboo. But no, I can imagine for you, Andrew, as somebody who's been carefully monitoring the situation for the longest time, to then have everyone kind of walk out into the street with you and start marching towards the waste management headquarters, yelling, "It is both. It is both." It just must have been a very a very gratifying experience for you. So was there ever, and maybe you said this and I was too busy looking up bugaboo versus bugaboo, but was there any explanation as to why there was no pickup yesterday?
No explanation yet, but everybody has filed their report. I'm guessing that maybe
strange.
they have somebody filling in on the route or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, it must be something. That somehow the truck just... Because, I mean, you would think that we've learned now, because I, gave him that gift card or whatever, and we had a little exchange. Like, I have a regular driver, right? Like, we know that there's somebody who does the same job every week. So with such a routine like that, how would you just forget an entire neighborhood? Chances are somebody took a day off and you had somebody filling
probably
in.
was called in sick.
Right.
And then that's another one. To get back to bugaboos, I grew up saying you're going to call in sick, but on the East Coast and a lot of other places, it's calling out. I called out today. I always, when I grew up, oh shoot, okay, you know what? I'm hungover. I'm going to call in sick today.
Yeah, I think that's what I would have said too.
But calling out is the way that a lot of other people say it, and I actually think that makes more sense.
Yeah,
it's
it
not what I
does,
grew up with.
call
I don't like it, but you are essentially saying I'm not coming in. So calling in sounds like, I always took that to mean you're calling into your boss saying I'm not coming.
That's what I was going to say. That's how I think I always, and I grew up in Ohio and then went east for a while and was in New Hampshire, and I don't think I've heard the call out sick, or if so, I've just never kind of paid attention to it. But I think I would instinctively say call in sick, and I think the reason is because you're picking up the phone and you're calling in to work to tell them that you're sick.
Yeah, I think it's an East Coast thing, and I think it's sort of like saying online versus inline, like to call out. But again, I could see the argument for it, because although calling out sick.
I've never heard that. And again, I was on the East Coast. Like, I just don't. You're sure that's an East Coast thing?
Well, that's where I've heard it the most. I mean, we'll get some listeners weighing in on this. It'll give us lots of rich content for next week, Andrew, from Friendship, Wisconsin. But anyway, yeah, I don't know where I was going with that, but the fact that I've completely lost the thread might indicate that we're reaching the end of this broadcast week.
Yes. All right. Like I say,
well, good luck with your garbage, sir.
Multitudes. Yeah, so I'm confident.
Yes,
I'll let you know how that turns out.
I definitely don't want you getting on a plane Sunday with this being a question mark for you.
Well, I would end up bringing it with me, which is the thing that I don't think you guys are going to do.
It's just 3 bit. It's just, I see the TikTok video as I'm getting on my plane. Well, I don't want to use those words anymore, those names, but just a TikTok video of a guy getting dragged off a flight because he has 3 huge garbage can bins and recycling bins with him and wants them to be seated next to him on the flight.
What if I just bring one, the problematic one, but people are like, well, you have to buy an extra seat. And I'm like, no, it can just sit on my lap
the
whole time.
And then they have to basically deplane everyone because you refuse to get off the flight.
That's right.
Yeah. Don't do that, please. We need you in Friendship, Wisconsin.
We'll see.
On Sunday.
No
we
promises.
Definitely do. John and I do not know how to do the show without you. All right. That is going to wrap it up for this week of TBTL, but we are sure hoping that we will see you all bright and early on Monday when we'll be live streaming from Friendship, Wisconsin, bringing you the first day of the TBTL-a-Thon 16, banding together. So, hey, thanks for spending all this time with us this week. Thanks for being part of TBTL. We'll see you on Monday. In the meantime, have a great weekend. Stay safe. Take care of yourselves. And please remember, no mountain too tall.
And good luck to all. Can you play us out a little bit on that harmonica? On that mouth harp.
Power out.